This Algebra 1, test number 15. We got through lesson 5.2 where we were writing equations given a slope and a point. Test number 15 study guide. Number 1 says write an equation with the given slope and y-intercept. You're going to write it as y equals mx plus b. mx plus b, and you're going to plug in m's value, which is -1, and b's value, which is -6. Remember, you don't want to show something saying -1x. Write it in the best form, y equals, you can't ignore the negative in front of the x, but you don't have to write in the 1, -6. If you put plus a -6, please change it. You don't want to write plus a negative either. Same thing with number 2. Y equals mx plus b. Your m value in this case is 1/6 x. Plus b is a positive 1/2, mx plus b, just like that, 1/6 x plus 1/2. Okay, number 3 and number 4, you're doing the same thing, but this time instead of being given an m and a b, you got to find it based on the picture. The b value for number 3 is where it crosses through the y-axis. Your b value for that one is 1. Your m value, you need to find it using 2 points that go through intersections. The slope for this one's 1. All the intersections are good, but you always, if you have 2 points highlighted, always use the ones that are highlighted to where you don't make a mistake. So if we start here, we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up 6 is positive 6, and we're going to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the right 6. Again, 6 over 6 gives you your m value. Your m value is 1. So write the equation y equals mx plus b. Your m value is 1 and your b value is plus 1. Again, we don't have to write 1 times something. The best form of this equation, y equals x plus 1. You can't leave off the plus 1 because that represents where it crosses through the y-axis. The same thing for number 4. This is your y-intercept or your b value. It's at -1. Again, there may be easier points to use, but since 2 points are highlighted, let's use those to find the slope. Down 1, down 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, down 8 means -8. To the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. To the right, 4 is positive 4. -8 divided by 4 gives us our slope value. In this case, it's -2. So y equals mx plus b. mx plus b, m's value is -2. B's value is -1, -1. Y equals -2x minus 1. Number 5, you're doing the same thing. You have a b value where it crosses through the y-axis. Again, just like the last one, it's at -1. Use the 2 points that are given to you. Go up 1, up 2. Up 2 is positive 2. To the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. To the right, 8 is positive 8. 2 over 8. The number 2 goes into both of them. It goes into 2 once. It goes into 8 4 times. Your slope then is 1/4. Y equals mx plus b. Your m value we just found is 1/4. Your b value is -1. Don't put plus a -1. Y equals 1/4 x minus 1. Number 6, find the slope and the y-intercept. This is in y equals mx plus b form. So your m or your slope is 4/5. That's your slope. Your b or your y-intercept is positive 10. Okay, number 17 is in standard form. It's not in slope-intercept form, so we have to move it to see the slope and the y-intercept. In order to move it, just convert your equation to say y equals mx plus b, just like this one. That's what we're aiming for. So go ahead and move over anything that's not y to the other side. That's positive 12x. Subtract 12x. If you subtract it there, subtract it on this side. Remember, you can't take it away from -120 because they're not like terms. So when we do that, it cancels this part out and it leaves us with 8y equals, write the x term first, -12x, and then the constant term, -120. Get rid of the 8 by dividing by 8 since it's multiplying by 8. If you divide the left, make sure to divide everything on the right by 8. Okay. The number 4 goes into both of these. It goes into 12 -3 times, and it goes into 8 2 times. So negative 3 over 2, it acts like a fraction next to it, negative 3 over 2x. And then the number 8 goes into 120. It goes into negative divided by positive is going to be a negative. 8 goes into 12 one time, and there's 4 left over. 8 goes into 40 5 times. So negative 15. Y equals, now we have an equation that says y equals negative 3 over 2x minus 15. Your m value then is, m is negative 3 over 2. That's your slope. And your b, since it says minus 15, is negative 15. Slope and y-intercept. Number 8 says use the slope and the y-intercept to graph the equation. This is the slope. M is negative 1/2. This is the b right here, 3. B tells you where to begin. So on your graph, begin on your y-axis at 1, 2, 3. That's where your first point goes. Your slope is negative 1 over 2. Remember, it's rise over run. So it tells you to go down 1. So from there, down 1. Then it tells you to go to the right 2. So we need to make ourselves 2 more marks. 1, 2. To the right, 1, 2. That's our second point, is going to go right there. So when you graph your equation, you just draw a straight line through those 2 points. It looks just like that. Number 9 says find the x and y intercepts. In order to find the x-intercept, you plug in 0 in place of y. 10x minus 0 equals 60. Minus anything is just going to cancel that part out. 10 times x equals 60. Divide by 10. Your x-intercept, therefore, is 6. We're going to do the same thing when we look for the y-intercept, except this time we're going to plug in 0 for x. 10 times 0 minus y equals 60. 10 times 0 gives us 0. That cancels that part of the problem out. Negative y equals 60, or negative 1 times y. Divide by negative 1 on both sides. Y equals, a positive divided by negative is a negative 60. Your y-intercept is negative 60. Number 10 says find the slope of the line. Remember, this is the toughest part with this, is deciding which 2 points you want to use. This is a good one because it goes through a y and an x intersection. This is not, because you can tell what its y value is, but you can't tell what its x value is. Same thing with this one and this one, this one and this one. Looks like we're getting back to a good point right here we can use. So remember, your slope is how much you're either going to go up or down, how much it rises like an elevator. It goes up 1, it goes up 2, 3, up 4 is positive 4. Over how much it runs from left to right. This time we're going to the right. 1, 2, 3, to the right 3. Positive 4 over 3 is your slope for that equation. Number 11 gives you 2 points, doesn't draw you a picture. Use your slope formula. M is equal to the change of y, the difference of y sub 2 and y sub 1, over the change of x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. X, y, x, y sub 1 sub 2. Y sub 2's value in this case is negative 3 minus y sub 1's value is 7 over x sub 2 is 6 minus x sub 1 is 3. Negative 3 minus 7 is negative 10. 6 minus 3 is 3. There's no number that goes into both of those. There's your slope. Negative 10 over 3. Negative 10 over 3. State whether it is 0 or undefined. You can write the word no slope with it. You can write an N. So that means it's undefined. Or if that's not good for you, just pick 2 points and see how they act with each other. It goes up 1 and it doesn't go over at all. You can't have that bottom number 0. That's why it's undefined. Number 12 says to graph these linear equations. Y equals, this one's in, nice and neat, mx plus b form for you. There's your m, there's your b. So your b value is 2. So on your y-axis, remember that's the one going up and down, you begin at the number 2. Your m value is negative 4. We can write everything as a fraction. So in order to make that slope a fraction, put it over 1. Negative 4 over 1 tells you to go down 4. 1, 2, we need to make 2 more marks, 3, 4, and go to the right 1 time. So down 2, 3, 4, to the right 1 time is a second point. Once you have 2 points, you can draw your graph through to both of them. Y is equal to 4. Notice there's no x values or anything, but that still is y equals mx plus b. Your b value is still saying going through the y-axis at 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to cross through right there. There is no slope for this one. I'm sorry, the slope is 0. It's not shown. It's 0x. So it's always going to be 4. So anytime you only have one variable shown like that, it's either going to be a horizontal line like it is in this case, or it's going to be a vertical line if it said x equals the value. Number 5 says to solve for y and then graph the equation. In order to solve for y, we want it to say y equals all by itself. In order to do that, we want to bring 5x over. It's positive 5x. Undo that by subtracting it. If you subtract 5x on the left, do it on the right. Negative 5x and negative 3. Remember, write the x term first to make it say mx plus b, negative 5x, negative 3. That's solving for y, and that shows you what your m value is. It's negative 5. It also shows you what your b value is. That's negative 3. So begin your equation or begin your graph at negative 1, 2, 3. That's what b tells you to begin at, negative 3. Your m value is negative 5. We can put that over the number 1. So that tells you to go down 5 times. From that point we started at, go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. And to the right, we're going to go 1 time, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To the right 1 time is our second point. You have 2 points. You can draw a line through to both of them to show your graph. Number 16 says solve this equation. We're not graphing these. We have variables on both sides. Bring your variables to one side. 4 is smaller than 5, so let's bring it over by subtracting 4x. Subtract it there, do it here. 5x minus 4x is 1x. Minus 4 equals, that part cancels out and leaves you with 2. Get rid of x minus 4 by adding it to both sides. Do it here as well. X is equal to 6. Before you can undo any operations on 17, you have to combine 7D, 3D, and 4D. 7 and 3 is 10, plus 4 is 14D. Plus 6 equals 4D. Normally, we have variables on both sides. We would bring our variables to one side by bringing a smaller 4 over to the larger 14. But since there's a constant term, 16, in this case, it's in our best interest. It's going to be easier if we bring the larger 14, positive 14D over by subtracting 14D. If we subtract it there, do it here. 4D minus 14D is negative 10D. This is going to go away, and we're going to have 6 on the left. Get D by itself. It says negative 10 times that. Divide by negative 10 to cancel it out. If you do it there, do it here. The positive divided by negative is going to be a negative. In this case, the number 2 is going to go into both. It goes into 6 3 times, and it goes into 10 5 times. D is equal to negative 3 over 5. Number 18 says 2/5 x minus 6 equals 2. Again, we're undoing our order of operations backwards. Undo any addition and subtraction like minus 6 by adding 6 to both sides. 2 plus 6 is 8. This cancels out. 2/5 times x. You undo 2/5 times something by dividing by 2/5. Remember, dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. So save yourself a step and multiply by that fancy word reciprocal means to just flip it. You multiply that side by 5/2. Do likewise to the other side. Everything's over 1. This cancels out and leaves you with x. You can cross cancel the numbers. 2 goes into itself once and into 8 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. You don't have to write it as 1 times 1 to write it over 1. X equals 20. Number 19, you're undoing your order of operations again. Undo plus 9 by subtracting it. If you do it there, do it here. 18 minus 9 is 9 equals negative d, which is the same thing as negative 1 times d. Undo negative 1 times something by dividing by negative 1. If you do it there, do it here. A positive divided by negative is a negative. 9 divided by 1 is 9d. d is equal to negative 9. Number 20 says 60 minus 5 plus 7m equals 125. Before you undo anything, combine 60 and negative 5. That's like 60 minus 5 is 55 plus 7m equals 125. Undo your order of operations backwards by undoing 55 plus 7m. Positive 55, so you need to subtract it. If you subtract it there, subtract it here. 5 minus 5 is 0. 12 minus 5 is 7. 7m, since this cancels out, equals 70. Undo 7 times something by dividing by 7. If you do it there, do it here. M equals 70 divided by 7 is 10. You have to distribute for 21 before you undo anything. 5 times y is 5y. 5 times negative 5 is negative 25 equals negative 10. Then you want to undo your order of operations backwards. Undo minus 25 by adding it to both sides. If you do it there, do it here. Negative 10 plus 25 is 15. This cancels out. 5y, or 5 times y, equals 15. Divide by 5 to cancel out times y. Do it here. Y equals 15 divided by 5 is 3. 22 says 6p over 9 minus 5 equals negative 35. Undo minus 5 by adding 5 to both sides. Negative 35 plus 5 is negative 30. 6p divided by 9. Undo 9, divide by 9 by multiplying by 9. If you do it there, do it here. Positive times a negative is going to be a negative. 30 divided by times 9 is 270. This cancels out. We have 6p equals negative 270. Divide by 6 to cancel it out. If you divide it there, divide it here. A negative divided by a positive is going to be a negative. 6 goes into 27 4 times. And there's a 3 left over. 6 goes into the number 30 5 times. P is negative 45. Much simpler problem number 23. Undo minus 2 by adding it to both sides. Negative 9 plus 2. T equals negative 7. 24 says plus a negative. We know that that means m minus 4 equals negative 11. Undo minus 4 by adding it to both sides. Negative 11 plus 4, opposite signs, you have to subtract them. You get the number 7, and since 11 was the larger absolute value, it's negative 7. M equals negative 7. And then number 25 says simplify negative 4/3. Remember, in this case, negative 4 is not being cubed. Only 4 is. So 4 times 4 times 4, and then that negative is going to come down in front of all of them. We know 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 4 is 64. Then that little negative is going to come down and make it negative 64.